The first autumn leaves fell, and a chilling breeze swept through the small village of Ravenshade. Nestled amidst ancient woods, it was a place where time seemed to stand still, the air heavy with the scent of damp earth and the whispers of forgotten tales. Its heart was home to a renowned dollmaker named Elara. Her name was known far and wide, her exquisite lifelike dolls adorning the shelves of collectors worldwide. Each doll was a masterpiece, their glassy eyes reflecting a world of beauty and mystery. But Elara was not just an ordinary dollmaker. Her craft was born of an ancient art, her hands weaving not just fabric and porcelain, but also a secret, a hidden enchantment. The villagers, entranced by the delicate beauty of her creations, were oblivious to this clandestine charm. Little did the villagers know each doll Elara crafted held a spark of life that would soon unleash a reign of terror. One crisp evening, as the moon cast an eerie glow over Elara's workshop, a group of curious villagers gathered to admire her latest creation, a doll named Serafina. The whispers of the villagers fluttered through the air like invisible butterflies, their words filled with a mixture of admiration and apprehension. "Elara, your dolls are exquisite, but there's something unnatural about Serafina," one villager voiced, his gaze locked on the eerily lifelike doll. The room fell into an uneasy silence, the villagers holding their breath as they awaited Elara's response. In the palpable tension, Elara merely smiled, her eyes gleaming with an unsettling glint. "Ah, Serafina is special, a vessel for emotions. She captures the essence of the human soul," she replied. Her voice as smooth as velvet yet cold as ice, sending shivers down the spines of the onlookers. The villagers exchanged glances, their unease growing like a shadow in the corner of their eyes. But Elara's reputation and the undeniable beauty of her creations made them dismiss the chill running down their spines. "She's just an artist, passionate about her craft," they told themselves, tucking away their fears in the deepest corners of their minds. Yet as they left the workshop, the image of Serafina, with her glassy eyes and porcelain skin, was etched in their minds, a haunting reminder of the uncanny meeting. They couldn't shake off the feeling that those dolls' eyes were following them, watching their every move, seeing into their very souls. The villagers dismissed their unease, but as the nights wore on, strange occurrences plagued Ravenshade. Whispers of unease turned into cries of fear, the tranquility of their small village shattered by the unsettling presence of Elara's dolls. The villagers could no longer ignore the terror that had taken root in their hearts. But little did they know, the reign of terror had only just begun. Whispers echoed through the narrow streets, and the air thickened with an otherworldly presence. The heartbeats of Ravenshade quickened as the village sank into an abyss of creeping dread. In hushed tones, over cups of steaming brew, the villagers began to share their tales. A mother, her eyes wide with fear, spoke of her daughter's innocent claim that Serafina, the doll, moved on her own when darkness fell. "Nonsense, right?" she asked, her voice trembling with disbelief. But her question was met with silence, a silence that was soon broken by another villager. He was a burly man, known for his strength and courage, yet his voice quivered as he described the sound of footsteps echoing through his empty home. "It was as if someone or something was pacing back and forth," he said, a shudder creeping into his voice. The stories multiplied, each more terrifying than the last. Children spoke of their toys being mysteriously moved, elderly couples complained of their doors creaking open in the dead of night. And always, there was Serafina, her glassy stare seeming to follow their every move, her porcelain face appearing in the most unexpected places. The villagers, once cheerful and trusting, now looked at each other with suspicion and fear. Every rustle of the wind, every creak of a door, every shadow that moved just out of sight amplified their terror. The once peaceful village was now a cauldron of fear, a place where sleep was elusive and laughter was forgotten. Everyone had a story to tell, a tale of an unexplained occurrence that defied reason, and at the heart of each tale was a doll, a creation of their once revered Elara, now an object of fear and loathing. The once peaceful village descended into paranoia, doors creaking open in the dead of night, and Seraphina's porcelain face seeming to mock the villagers from every corner. Ravenshade was no longer a place of tranquility, but a stage for a chilling spectacle of unexplained occurrences. One stormy night, as the village gathered in the local inn, fear etched on their faces, a mysterious figure entered, the renowned Dollmaker herself. As the door creaked open, a hush fell over the room. The villagers had come to confront Elara, the woman whose creations had once been their pride, but were now their terror. "Elara," a villager implored, his voice shaky, "we beg you, put an end to this nightmare. Our village is haunted by your creations." His plea hung in the air, the room filled with trepidation, waiting for the Dollmaker's response. Elara's laughter rang out, a chilling sound that echoed off the inn's cobblestone walls. "You fools!" she exclaimed, her voice a haunting melody of amusement and menace. "You think you can control art? My dolls breathe life into your deepest fears, revealing the darkness within." Her words were met with a stunned silence. The villagers had known Elara was eccentric, but they hadn't realized the depth of her derangement. Their hearts pounded in their chests as they came to understand the true nature of her creations. Elara's gaze fell on Seraphina, the doll that had started it all. With a wave of her hand, the doll came to life, its eyes glowing an ominous crimson. As Seraphina began to move, so too did the others. The dolls, once beautiful and cherished, now twisted into grotesque forms, their movements mirroring the fear that gripped the villagers' hearts. The room filled with gasps and cries as the dolls danced their macabre waltz through the crowd. The villagers were frozen in place, their eyes wide with terror as they watched their worst nightmares come to life. Elara watched the scene unfold with a satisfied smile. Her creations were alive, their movements a testament to her artistry. As the dolls danced, the villagers could do nothing but watch, their pleas for mercy going unanswered. With a wave of her hand, Seraphina and the other dolls came to life, eyes glowing an ominous crimson. It was a sight the villagers would never forget, a chilling reminder of the night they confronted Elara and the true nature of her dolls. The once beautiful creations twisted into grotesque forms, dancing a macabre waltz through the frightened crowd. Elara, the renowned Dollmaker, stood amidst the chaos, her face illuminated by an otherworldly glow. The villagers, paralyzed by fear, watched as their quiet village was transformed into a nightmarish spectacle. "Elara, please," cried one villager, trapped between the advancing dolls and the cold stone wall of the inn. "We never meant any harm." But Elara merely smiled, her gaze sweeping over the terrified faces. The dolls, once her pride and joy, had turned into monstrous marionettes, their delicate porcelain faces twisted in a grotesque parody of life, their glassy eyes glowing an ominous crimson. "Art is not meant to be controlled," Elara said, her voice echoing through the room. "It is meant to reveal the truth, and the truth is, you are all afraid." With a wave of her hand, the dolls froze in their tracks. The room fell silent, save for the harsh panting of the villagers and the crackling of the fire in the hearth. Elara's eyes gleamed with an unsettling glint as she began to chant in a language long forgotten. The air thickened, and the villagers could feel their hearts pounding in their chests. A cold dread seeped into their bones, spreading through their bodies like a deadly poison. The room began to spin, and one by one the villagers slumped to the ground, their eyes wide open in terror. Elara's laughter echoed through the room, a chilling sound that sent shivers down the spines of the villagers. She walked amongst the fallen bodies, her hand gently caressing the faces of the dolls. "You are all part of my masterpiece now," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the roaring wind outside. "A collection of souls forever entwined with porcelain." With a final sweep of her hand, the dolls returned to their lifeless state. Their glassy eyes stared blankly ahead, their porcelain faces frozen in a permanent display of terror. The once bustling village of Ravenshade was eerily silent, the only sound the soft rustling of the autumn leaves outside. Elara left the inn, her footsteps echoing in the empty streets. She looked back one last time, her eyes lingering on the lifeless figures huddled in the inn. A satisfied smile tugged at the corners of her lips. The dolls returned to their lifeless state, but the village of Ravenshade remained forever trapped in the haunting stillness of Elara's malevolent artistry, a collection of terror eternally on display.